everyone. Welcome. You're watching Ask BQ on Bloomberg Quint. I'm Pradeep Pandya.
Hi everyone, and I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza. Well, this is the show where we address all your stock queries, so you can write to us on Twitter, Facebook, or just call us on 022-4540-4141. You can also mail us at askbq@bloombergquint.com with all your financial queries, and we'll try and address as many as possible on the show. Just remember to add the AskBQ hashtag. Well, let's get in our two experts of the day, Thakkar of Anand Rathi Financial Services and Sandeep Jain of Tradeswift Broking are here to answer all your queries. Welcome to the show, gentlemen, and good afternoon to both of you.
Before we get to individual queries, let's have a look at how markets are doing. Quite range-bound day for Nifty and Sensex today. If you look at even mid-cap and small-cap are in positive, but there is not much momentum. But in last few minutes, you can see indices actually moving up. Small cap index is also at the day's high. Market breadth has remained positive since morning, although indices were quite indecisive. Some of the sectors and stocks that traders are focusing on today, you can look at IT names like Infosys doing well ahead of its number tomorrow. You also have financial services, especially private sector banks doing well. Kotak Mahindra Bank among biggies, and in mid-cap space you have IDFC Bank, also an NBFC, Capital First, and these two companies have been in news, several rumors floating around. And you also see iBulls Housing, which is yet another interesting stock in today's trade. Well, let's look at some more names like Aban Offshore. This stock has been buzzing for a few sessions now, ever since crude moved above $68, now inching towards 70 actually. You also have Quick Heal doing well in today's trade. Jai Corp and RRIL once again in focus after the news report in today's paper that Mukesh Ambani is planning to buy stake in Navi Mumbai SEZ from Jai Corp, and both these stocks have moved up since morning. Som Distiller is yet another gainer after Porinju Velayat bought stake into the company.
Okay, that's about the markets, which are now trading in the green for both benchmark as well as your broader market indices. Let's straight away address our viewer queries then. Our first query for the day comes from Anil Rai, who writes to us on YouTube. He has 300 shares of Balrampur Chini, which he bought at a price of 144 rupees with a long-term view, and he wants to know if he should hold on or sell. Well, the current market price of Balrampur Chini just about the same where our viewer has bought. I'll take this query to Sandeep. Sandeep, what's the view on sugar space? Because there are days when we see a good rally from the stocks from this sector, but that rally always fizzles out. Do you think from a 2 to 3 year horizon it could make a good investment case?
See, commodity stocks cannot be great investment cases. They are very cyclical, and I think one has to be very, very smart to make money out of these cycles. So I feel that, sugar has been in the limelight, and this whole sector has really done well, and the balance sheet has also improved. And the quality of this company's balance sheet was anyway good, and I think it has gone better also. If you see the numbers also, the growth numbers were excellent during the last 3 years, last 1 year particularly. So I feel, and the return ratios are also very good, and the valuations are also reasonable. So we can always hold on to the stock, and I think somewhere around 125.30 the stock should take a support also, and he should have a target of around 170 to 175 in this stock. Till that time he can hold on to the stock.
Okay, so the whole call on Balrampur Chini, though what has happened is in international market, sugar prices were going up, but now they have started to cool off, and that could be one reason why, the uptrend that we had seen over last almost 2 weeks is probably now getting over. It depends a lot upon what happens in the commodity prices in global markets. Sayantan Bhaumik is the next caller who has written to us on Facebook. He wants to invest in Radhika Khaitan with a 2-month view. He wants to know if it is the right time to invest. Well, you have only 2 months view, though this morning a local brokerage has come out with a report with significant upside on this stock. But Jay, do you think this is a good trading bet as well for 2 months?
Hi, good afternoon, Pradeep. Absolutely, I think not only from the 2 months horizon, but I would say from the 2 years horizon as well, this stock is really good. This stock has, in fact, moved out of its consolidation. It's been a long consolidation, Pradeep. I would say right from 2005 till 2007. So it's a 12 years of consolidation, post which we have seen this breakout coming, and the stock thereafter inching higher and forming higher tops and higher bottom. So I think if someone is really buying it out for the 2 months horizon, I think one should actually increase the horizon into this. I would say time frame into this. The reason is when you see such kind of a huge breakouts happening, I mean it's going to last for long. However, for 2 months as well, I would say on the lower side, this stock has a good support at the levels of say around 255. On the upside, one can say the stock inching towards 375, 380 as well. Overall, this sector is actually also in a good move, and we have been seeing that stocks like McDowell and UBL also performing quite well. So I think not only Radhika but UBL too looks quite attractive at these levels from the risk reward point of view.
Okay, so the liquor stocks definitely are doing well, and Jay too has a positive view in that. And the recent one to turn bullish on Radhika Khaitan is IDFC Securities, which have an outperformed rating on this counter with a target of almost 405. Let's move on. Our next query comes from Gagan Sharma, who's written to us an email. He has 1,000 shares of Eminent Financial Services, which he bought at a price of 485 rupees with a 1-month view. Gagan wants to know what should he do. Can we check where the current price of Eminent Financial is? Okay, so it's slightly below his buy price of 485. Jay, I'll come back to you. He has a 1-month view. What would you advise him to do?
Hi, good afternoon, Navneet. Well, I see as far as Eminent Financial is concerned, this stock too, I think at least in the short term should do quite good, because the reason is overall sector, we have been seeing that the stocks are performing quite well, and as far as the Eminent Financial Services is concerned, the data which I am checking it right now, I think overall the stock is good. The only thing is that it's a slow mover compared to its peers. So I would say it may underperform its peers, but doesn't mean that the stock will go down. It has got a good support at around 459, below which there is a good downside risk. Till those lows are not broken, we're slowly and steadily seeing this stock, in fact, trending higher in an upward sloping channel, and the target on the upside comes to around 508. So with a stop loss of 459, hold on to this. But yes, there should be a strict stop loss of 459.
Okay, 459, that's the stop loss on Eminent Financials, and the call is to hold on to the stock. Let's move on to the next query on Facebook now, coming from Rajiv Thakkar, who has joined us live. He has bought 100 shares of Jamna Auto at 83 rupees with a short-term view. Jamna Auto at 83, Jay, what's your call?
I think it's a buy, definitely, Pradeep. In fact, auto ancillaries are really doing good. And as a disclaimer, first of all, I would like to say that Jamna Auto was recommended, from the fundamental desk of Aside, and targeting around 90 and above levels. I think Jamna Auto technically too looks really good. The minimum target that technically I'm seeing it on this stock, come to the levels of almost 105. I think on the upside it seems to be extending its wave 5. On the lower side it has got a good support around 79. So I think yes, the momentum indicators, the way they have reversed from sell to buy, overall chart structure really looks bullish.
Okay, so hold on to Jamna Auto is the call coming in from Jay. In fact, the stock in the last 12 months is almost more than double. Our next query comes from Harsh Kothari. He's bought 150 shares of RCI Industries at a price of 237, and he has a long-term view. Well, the current market price of the share is just 238, so pretty much at the price right now for RCI Industries. Sandeep, I'll come to you. Do you track this counter?
Very sorry, Navneet, I don't track this stock.
No worries, Sandeep. I'll get a chart check going then. Jay, on the charts, RCI Industries, how does it look?
Well, this stock too, it's not in my continuous radar. I would say that, I don't have a close look at this, so I would like to avoid as well.
Okay, so it's a rare stock to track. Probably none of our experts are tracking it right now, so we'll have to give it a pass. Let's see, the next query is coming in on Facebook from Soumitra Biswas. He wants a view on Yes Bank. Soumitra has not really specified what time frame on Yes Bank is he looking for, but today we will be closely watching out for Indusind Bank results. Sandeep, what's your view on private banking numbers per se as far as December quarter goes?
I think they should do well. In fact, Indusind Bank's results are also there, and in fact, since last many quarters, this bank has really been doing well. And I think as far as the question of the viewer is concerned about Yes Bank, I think he should hold to the stock because somehow Yes Bank is closer to its support also, and it has given a good consolidation also, and there is some fundraising news also. And I think the company has been doing fairly well, and it's a good price to enter into. The risk reward ratios look good at these times, and I think private sector banks somehow will do well, and particularly ICICI Bank. I'm quite bullish about ICICI Bank because out there also the risk reward ratio is also very good. It has not done as good as the other private bank peers, so one can see really good value.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on the banking space. ICICI Bank is a bit under pressure, but Indusind Bank particularly will be in focus as the bank comes out with its Q3 earnings today. Let's take some more live queries going, and this one comes from Himaraj Pantagani, who's written to us on Facebook. He wants to invest in Shankara Building with the long-term view, and he wants to know if this is the right time to put his money into this counter. Sandeep, I'll come back to you. Do the valuations of Shankara look attractive to you at these levels?
It's a very valid question you have put, and the right way of asking the question, I think, because somehow valuations are not very comfortable. I'm very bullish about the whole sector because of the, it's a very niche kind of company, where they are doing a retailing and building materials, and the building material sector is going to do very well because of the initiatives taken by the government relating to, Prime Minister Awas Yojana, affordable housing, sanitation and all these. But still, at these levels, I will not be very comfortable in buying this stock. The markets are also at highs, and the stock has actually consistently been performing since its IPO listing. So I feel one should wait and watch and rather buy it somewhere around say 1200, 1300 if it comes there, because see 1700 is the level. So at this time, if I predict levels of 1200, 1300, that sounds not very logical. So I feel those will be the levels where I'll be comfortable.
Okay, so there's a call coming in on Shankara Building for you. It's expensive at current levels. Sanjeev Khajuria has bought 200 shares of Coal India at 285 with a short-term view. Well, if you have bought at 285, you have definitely benefited by the price hike that the company has affected. With the short-term view, Jay, what do you say? Because when the news came out actually on Tuesday, I believe, the stock hit a high of around 315 or so, but since then it has not been able to surpass that level. So what should a short-term trader do?
Absolutely correct, Pradeep, but I think that on the upside this stock can do 330. The move prior to this breakout, or I would say prior to this news, was clearly an impulse move, post which we have seen this stock in fact correcting by almost 50 to 61% of its previous move. And I think this is the first time, in fact, I'm seeing a good buying interest coming in Coal India. Else this stock was almost in a downtrend only most of the times. So now I believe that yes, there can be a turnaround from these levels, because we have seen the first impulse coming in this stock from the lower levels. At least for the short term, I think 330 looks quite likely. On the lower side, 273 should be stop loss.
Okay, that's the view on Coal India. Let's see if there is a turnaround which comes or not. But the stock has been trading comfortably above the level of 300 post that news of price hike came about. Our next query on Facebook comes from Ankit Mishra. He's written to us. He's bought 200 shares of Advanced Enzyme at a price of 312 rupees, and he has a short-term view. He wants to know what he should be doing. 312 is the buy price, and currently the stock's trading around the mark of 317, I guess. Jay, I'll take this question back to you since it's a short-term query. What would you advise Ankit to do?
Well, Anand, I would say that this stock too is covered by a fundamental desk, and I would say that this stock looks good, seems to have completed its downside, has provided a clear breakout from a downtrend line. It's just that it's facing a hurdle near its 200 DMA, which comes to around the levels of 320, 325 zone. So once it managed to take off those levels of 325 on the upside, we can thereafter see a short-term move at least coming till 364 or so. On the lower side, I would say 288 now is a very good support. It's a mean of the bands within which it's trading. So I think till those lows are not broken, the probability of a breakout and then achieving 364 is quite high.
Okay, so that's the call coming in on Advanced Enzyme. Moving on to the next query from Bharat Bhushan. He wants to invest in JK Tyre with a long-term view. Is it the right level to enter into the stock, Sandeep? What do you say?
See, somehow about tire stocks, um, one can enter into this sector somehow, maybe they all have run up and the valuations may not be very comfortable at these levels because the markets have also been at highs. So somehow I have been sounding very cautious. So I think stocks have to be bought at some declines now, somewhere around if it corrects, say, and this month is actually very crucial because of the budget also. So if one has to buy and one have to take risk, I think he should look at some pre-budget themes. And tire somehow cannot be a very specific pre-budget theme. So I'll suggest him to get into some stocks like rural consumption stocks, and particularly like fertilizers and agri theme and some building material themes. So I think cement can be a good bet and fertilizer can be a good bet. So railway stocks can be a good bet, logistics can be a good bet. So I feel he should wait and watch, and some realty plays are also at good levels. So I think for as far as JK Tires is concerned, somehow he should wait for some time, and he can look at the stock at somewhere around 150, 140 levels.
Okay. Sandeep, since you mentioned about the realty pack, our next question is from Ranjita Arvind, who's written to us on Facebook, and she wants to invest in Unitech with a long-term view. What would you advise Ranjita to do? Is Unitech the right stock in this sector, or would you choose something else?
I would certainly choose something else. See, somehow these all stocks can be good multi-baggers also. I won't deny that, because somehow the NCLT and all these things are like getting really activated, and the government is also very, active in resolving all these issues, NPA cases. So I think these can do well, but then they are with risk, and the investor has to be very active and very smart also in making money in these kind of stocks. But still, there are good, better stocks, better quality names in realty stocks. And I think if you look for a North Indian name, so Anantraj can be a very good bet. Again, on declines, it has to be bought. Then DLF can also be bought at some declines. Then Mahindra Life Spaces, I'm bullish on Mahindra Life Spaces because it is also dealing in SEZ. So I think pre-budget, it can be a good theme to get into.
Okay, so these are some of these stock ideas that you could explore in real estate per se. Bhavani Shankar Behera, one of our regular viewers, has in fact written to us on Facebook. He has bought 850 shares of Orion Paper at 170 with a short-term view. Orion Paper bought at 170, short-term view. Jay, what would be your call?
Well, I would say that this stock, in fact, has run up quite a lot, and I agree that there was a demerger news, and which has also already, I think a demerger seems to also have completed, and the stock has seen a good run up on the upside. Pradeep, now it's trading quite at an overbought territory. Hence, I would not recommend, buying at these levels as well. Holding onto the stock right now. The reason is that once we see a meaningful correction or consolidation coming in this stock, thereafter we can again initiate a good or fresh buy. The risk reward is not matching, hence I would say that if at all he is getting whatever profits, I think he should book out from this.
Okay, so book out from this is the advice from Jain. Just for our viewers, it's gone X date for demerger. So if somebody had to play on this restructuring game, yesterday was the last day to buy into Orion Paper, as the company has demerged its electrical side of the business. Let's take some more live queries that we're getting on Facebook. Utsav Singh has written to us. He's bought 1,000 shares of Syntex Plastics at 115 with a long-term view. He wants to know whether he should hold or sell. Well, this is once again the demerged entity of Syntex Industries. Sandeep, what's the view on Syntex Plastics? What should Utsav do? He's bought at 115 and the shares are currently trading around the mark of 93.
See, there was some negative news relating to the stock also. So that's why it has corrected also, and it has not performed with the markets. But then that's an opportunity, I feel, and one can certainly hold on to the stock. And I feel these are some levels where risk reward ratios look good. And as you told that, it's the demerged entity. So I think it will give some value in the longer run. So one can certainly hold on to the stock for a target of around 120 to 125.
Okay, and let's see how the numbers really, managed to impress the market or no, because the very first quarterly numbers that came out earlier, the September quarter was the first quarter post-demerger, were really disappointing. Now the second quarterly numbers are awaited today. Kirti Mishra has written to us on Facebook. He has bought 100 shares of Hutco at 86 with a long-term view. Sandeep, do you like Hudco? After listing, the stock has not really been in news, not really a hot favorite, but several investors have been holding on to it with the hope that this will turn out to be a long-term outperformer.
Yeah, certainly, Pradeep. I think it is a great stock to enter into at these levels because it really gives comfort of that risk reward ratio also, and the markets have it has underperformed the market, so that throws an opportunity. And I feel it can be a good pre-budget play also because the government will be focusing on housing also, rural housing also, and it is also into urban housing also. It's a kind of B2B, B2C housing play, and it's a great story. And I feel that at these levels, because 82, 83 has been a very good level where it takes a support, and it is around 86, 87. So I think it can be a very good long-term buy. One should certainly buy at these levels, and one can buy at lower levels also, and staggered buying also can be done. So overall, I'm very bullish about the stock.
Okay, bullish on Hudco is the call from Sandeep, but our next query, which is on IOB, and this one comes from Bhavesh Jain, who writes to us on Facebook. He's bought 800 shares of IOB at a price of rupees 27, which is Indian Overseas Bank, and he has a short-term view. The price currently is about between 23 to 24, and he's bought at 27. Jay, what would you advise? Should he book his losses, or if you can suggest a stop loss for him?
I would say definitely exit from this stock and get into some quality PSU name. If at all you're trading, then I think you should chase the momentum rather than the stock which is already in a downtrend. Pradeep knows better the fundamentals of this stock. I've heard him, mentioning about it many a times that this is one stock which has the highest number of NPAs, and I would say that this stock has been trending quite lower. Recently too, it has a range of around say 26, 26 and a half to on the lower side around 21. I'm not recommending this at all. If someone really wants to get into some PSUs, then I think PNB, SBI, these two looks really good. And apart from that, Bank of Baroda is also one stock one can actually get into, even from trading point of view, if not investment.
Okay, so that's the call coming in. Yes, indeed, IOB competes closely with IDBI Bank, I believe, Navneet, in a race to bottom in terms of worst quality of assets that they have and the highest gross NPA as a result. So let's move on to the next query from Rajesh Singh on Facebook. He wants to invest in Tata Metallic with a long-term view. Well, Tata Metallic, Tata Sponge, all these Tata Group steel or metal companies have been buzzing for last few sessions. Sandeep, do you think it's a good long-term play as well?
Not really, Pradeep. I think at these levels, it looks very difficult to enter into these kind of stocks because they have run up very fast in last few sessions also. So Tata Metallics otherwise is a good bet, but I think I'll be cautious now to enter at these levels looking at the risk reward ratios, and I'm a bit cautious about the market also. And overall metal somehow has really performed very well. So we should give some time to cool them down and rather look at some other names where we can enter.
Okay, that's the view on Tata Metallics. At current levels, the risk-reward ratio may not be that great, is the advice from Sandeep, but the stock has been clearly on a tear. It's given you good returns in the last 6 months, or be it in the last 1 year. Well, the show will be incomplete if we don't get queries for stocks like Rain Industries. Next one comes from Mayur Sharma, bought 7,000 shares of Rain Industries at a price of, what a good entry point, 181. I'm surprised he has a 2-month view. I don't know when did he exactly buy the shares. Jay, on the chart's 2-month view, what should be the target since the stock is already trading around its all-time high levels? The entry point is 181 for Rain Industries.
I would like to congratulate him first of all, and I would say definitely now onwards, so one should have some short-term view only on Rain Industry because it has gone up so much. I would say in the past 1.5 years, I've been tracking this stock since 60, 70, and it has almost gone up by almost like you say 15 odd times. Now I think one has to closely observe this stock in the short term in order to gain maximum from this stock if someone is riding onto it. And I would say on the lower side, 390 is a very crucial support. With that as a trailing stop loss, he can continue holding this stock. It may, if not 390 is broken, then it may go and test the levels of around 507 to 510 on the upside.
So you can simply keep riding this rally and just put a stop loss, rather trail your stop loss. So the current stop loss suggested by Jay is around 490. So with that level in mind, you could just put a stop loss and wait for the higher levels that will probably come. Moving on to the next one, Shailendra Jhala has written to us on Facebook. DHFL is the stock he wants to invest in with a long-term view. DHFL has been an outperformer. Sandeep, do you think this is a good housing finance story that one should bet on?
Certainly, Pradeep. I'm quite bullish about the stock, and it has been my favorite since years. In fact, since last 2-3 years, I've been recommending this stock to our clients at even as low as 150 levels, and still I'm very bullish about the stock. Looking at the growth numbers the company has delivered, and in fact in the future also I am quite bullish about the same numbers, same set of numbers the company might deliver, and the level of valuations, if you see it from the price to book value multiples also, is one of the cheapest in the housing finance sector. So I feel one can certainly bet onto the stock, and one can hold on to the stock if someone has already invested, and if one wants to enter into the stock, he can certainly enter at these levels or 600, 575 levels for a target of around 725.
Okay, that's the view on Divan Housing. Well, we are running out of time. I'd like to thank both our guests. Thank you very much, Jay, as well as Sandeep, for joining us today and helping our viewers with their queries. Well, that's all that we have on this edition of Ask BQ.
But remember, we are just a tweet, post or a call away, so keep your queries coming and we promise to address all of them through our shows. You can also log on to bloombergquint.com, search for #AskBQ and get answers to all the queries that were discussed on the show. Power Lunch is up next. Keep watching Bloomberg Quint Live.